There's no place like home as we're at American Legion Memorial Stadium for the first time since March 24th, which is also the last time Charlotte won in League One play, as Week 10 takes off with the first ever showdown between the Jacks and AC Boise, who ride a wave of 5 straight unbeaten. The USL League One on ESPN Plus is presented by Novant Health. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. Charlotte returned home after traveling for the last 3 straight. The final leg of the trip was to open up the Fort Wayne Stadium, where they flew out of the gate flying with fireworks. Fort Wayne scored less than 5 minutes in, but Christy Mazinga would slot in his first goal in his first ever start. The lead returned back to the home side before Enzo Martinez made history as the first ever player in Charlotte Independence Club history to 50 goals. Head coach Mike Jeffrey said the team needed to take a breath and slow things down after the first 15 minutes. But after the game, they were frustrated they left points on the table. But the positive is in their number 9, Christy Mazinga, our player to watch, presented by Gatorade. He got his first start and his first goal in Fort Wayne. After a foot injury set him back for the first month or so, he made his introduction into the lineup and did so with a major impact. Athleticism, pace, and box presence were all some of the attributes Mike Jeffries noted for the 31-year-old who has 230 career games across the board. For AC Boise, the expansion side continued their hot run, marking their 5th straight game in all competition in the regular season, unbeaten. They come off a 2-1 win against the Chattanooga Red Wolves, where the game-winning goal came from a 2-0 lead from a Chattanooga own goal. Nate Miller said the first half of that game was the best half that they played all season long. And not only did that allow AC Boise to continue their run, but they do so riding a momentous wave both in the regular season and in the USL Cup. And one of the leaders of that charge is our other player to watch, presented by Gatorade. Dennis Kostishin has been a revelation since joining AC Boise. He's nominated for Player of the Month in April with 3 goals and a point throughout the entire month, which includes 3 goal contributions in the 4-0 win against Westchester. The Ukrainian looks to continuously make an impact as he starts 7 for 7 in his first season in USL League One. It's a return home to Charlotte as they look to get back in the win column since the last time they came home, as AC Boise look to continue momentum with 5 straight unbeaten in the regular season. The USL League One is presented by Novant Health. Lineups and kickoff are next.
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, Blue Cross North Carolina is proud of the relationships we've built with you. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. We're here for you, all of you.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive.
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
The USL League One is presented by Novant Health, the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independence. With same-day and next-day sick visits, Novant Health provides care when and where you need it. Schedule online at novanthealth.org. And we're back in Charlotte for the first time since March 24th, the last time that Charlotte won. And they do so with one change from their last game against Fort Wayne. That lone change comes in the midfield. But first, in the forward, Mazinga makes his second consecutive Charlotte start, centering Ortiz and Jaime, both of whom have run cold in the forward group. Miles Lyons is the lone change in the 11. His first start in League One with 91 appearances of experience in the championship. The back five remains unchanged, but Matt Levy's back in with 3 straight without a win. For Boise on the other end, you got a trio of changes, one on all 3 lines. Brito hasn't played since mid-April versus Westchester, where he also got a goal. He's paired with Kostashin up top, who's the nominee for the Player of the Month. Gasso is the other change in the midfield. His first start in 7 appearances this year. And N.Yi is in the right back as the rookie from VCU is the reigning A10 Defensive Player of the Year, is the third and final change for Nate Miller. We come to you from American Legion Memorial Stadium for the first time since the end of March, which also signifies the last time that Charlotte won in regular season play. They did get a win in the Prince Tires USL Cup, but as we return back to League One action, they sit at 1-1-2 to start their opening 5 games, while AC Boise, they are hot off the fly in their opening half dozen matches, in 5th place with 11 points to open things up in 2026. Charlotte will be in the red and blue. They operate from left to right. Going right to left in the all black will be AC Boise as we get started here at American Legion Memorial Stadium, downtown Charlotte, where the Jacks and Boise kick off for the first time in their short history. They do have another game in September that will be played at Stadium at Expo. But first things first, you have a Charlotte side trying to get back into things with 4 straight, with their first win off of 3 straight losses between the Open Cup and the regular season for Charlotte in that USL Cup game against Richmond. They take another game with a relatively positive result after a 2-2 draw on the road in Fort Wayne, but there is no place like home for Charlotte. Boise on a hot run. You have 6 straight unbeaten across all competitions. They look to push Mo Shabane, the former Jack, jars it loose back to Boise. Kostashin leads the way, as we've mentioned throughout the Open. 4 goal contributions in 4 matches, making him a part of the Player of the Month nomination crew. Boise play it forward. Philip Mayaka spent last year with Huntsville of MLS Next Pro, dislodged at center from Luan Brito. But Musa Enye prevents progress from going any further. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the Atlantic 10 when he was with VCU. Mayaka. And Boise slowly make their way up for an offensive unit that have been one of the best across all of League One. Their 12 goals are tied for the most in the league. They're tied with 4 others, but maybe the early head start could give them that lead in terms of who is the hottest attacking unit in the league. Deep try, Bodily going for it. Partially disrupted. Kroll retreats. Jim Kroll spent the last 3 years with Ford Madison, comes in the inaugural Boise side, as he is also coming off of a heater himself, being part of the team of the week is Kroll. He and Jake Dangler, 2 veterans in League One. Dangler spent the last couple of years with Tormenta and Naples, and they both are part of the defensive stalwarts here for Boise. Up ahead, Mo Shabane drops it back. Kostashin widens, Bodily comes across, and it is just barely kept in play. Mayaka settles down, has help from Gasso. Couple of players formerly of Huntsville City as Kostashin drives the gut, wanted to fan out from Mo Shabane. Again for Gasso, cleared away by the Jacks. Mazinga ahead of the pack. Christy Manzinga gets dropped. Philip Mayaka and Dominic Gasso leading the way in the midfield for Nate Miller, both of whom recently played with Huntsville City of MLS Next Pro. However, they actually missed each other, so they were never actually teammates until they came here to Boise. Mayaka was there for the lone season last year in 2025, and Gasso was there 2 years ago on loan. Manzinga, edge of the box, curls it across, but into the hands of Jonathan Cleaver. Our injury report is brought to you by Novant Health, and ACB didn't have any reported, but Charlotte, it is a laundry list of guys out. You have guys like Sega Koulibaly, Fabrice Inga, who's been a long-time Jack, Koulibaly, a recent addition, and even missing the services of some of the new additions, including Jean-Do Fuchs, who just came in about a month ago. Mike Jeffries talked about the overall effect that those injuries had and how it's really disrupted some of his intents and ideas and what he wants to do, just due to sheer lack of man games missed. You saw the list of how long it was. Imagine doing the math. Although it might be easy, only 7 games in. Taking our first look at Mike Jeffries. Trying to really reverse the fortunes of a year ago. 10, 13, and 7 in the 2025 campaign. They backdoored their way into the playoffs after some of the other teams had chances but failed to meet the qualifying scenario. So that allowed Charlotte to take the final slot in the playoff field. However, it resulted in a season that was the first time sub 500 since 2019 when they were still in the USL Championship. And they start off the season 5 games in, sub 500 again at 1-2-2, but all it takes is one win to get back to 500, reverse the fortunes for a group that can only get healthier by the day at this point. Kroll near side, Bodily for Moshabane. Flipping it ahead, Bodily controls, but the flag goes up.
The offside flag is up. It will be an indirect kick.
Our crew in yellow, Alejo Kalume leads the way. Colin Ashley, Nicholas Lopez, MJ Tahini are our crew for the game today. Calvin Romero, second-year Jack. At the center stripe, up the seam, Baquero. Almost had Manzinga, but interrupted by Enya. Even though ACB have been in this long run of unbeaten, Nate Miller said it took them until last week against Chattanooga in that opening half to finally really find their peak form, saying that first half was the best half they played all season. Just noting the overall dominance they had on all ends of the pitch. As Moshabane attempts to strip, Dimmick recollects for Charlotte. Across it comes Ortiz. Wanting to lead the way for Manzinga, but he'll let it go as he would have been offside regardless. Stolen away by Charlotte. Ortiz restarts the attack for Charlotte. Amaya couldn't get through the middle. Mayaka scraps with Baquero. Still working. Poked away. Joey Skinner walks out of the pack. A lot of high pedigree players on this Charlotte roster. Even on that left side of the formation. You have the former 5th overall draft pick of Toronto FC in John Baquero, the former 11th overall draft pick of Nashville SC in Joey Skinner, and this last year's second rounder of RSL in Jefferson Amaya in the midfield. Chip towards the 18, Dimmick, not in time. Miles Lyons. Charlotte will cycle. For the second straight season, 5 teams have come into USL League One as expansion sides. And they have been on quite a run in recent years of the overall success that the debutante clubs have had. In 2024, you had Spokane Velocity going all the way to the League One final, and you had 2 of the 5 new clubs going to the postseason last year with the Portland Hearts of Pine and FC Naples. So most certainly opportunity presents itself for ACB. Romero diagonally, too short for Lions. Still bobbled, taken down in the area. You had Lyons, you had Cleaver.
Referee signals for a corner kick for the Jags.
But it will draw the first corner of the match with the persistence of Miles Lyons. You just see some of the back and forth. They wanted to argue for a penalty because Cleaver just wrapped Lyons up. Type of wrap up, that'd be great for the other kind of football, but we're on the pitch. Javier Romero to serve. Short. Lions cycles up top. Jaime, high header to the hands of Cleaver. Two straight starts for Jonathan Cleaver in regular season play. Last time out, that 2-1 win against Chattanooga in his first start with ACB was that 4-0 win against Westchester, so a combined 1 goal allowed in 2 starts for Cleaver back between the pipes. Levy continues movement for Charlotte. Romero across, Lyons has Baquero alongside. That's where he goes. Baquero by the corner. In the box, Lyons declines the shot, wants the feed, blocked away, but held in by Amaya. Closing in on a quarter hour, only a singular shot attempt. Dimmick. Jaime retreats back. Up the gut, Jaime, and it's a little bit shy of Manzinga as Cleaver gets aggressive. ACB and the lead man for the first year, Nate Miller. Not his first rodeo in USL League One, 2018 and 19 with Lansing Ignite. Back in the inaugural USL League One season, also some time leading the way in the championship with San Diego Loyal before they eventually folded in 2023. And actually took a couple guys that were holdovers from that Loyal roster and from that Ignite roster, including Tumi Moshibane, who spent his last season in Charlotte. The other one being Nick Moon, who was also a part of both San Diego and Lansing with Coach Miller. Ortiz taken down, and this will draw a Charlotte free kick. Up the line, Dimmick. The captain twirls for Baquero. Baquero wanted in. Dangler heads it out for another Charlotte corner.
It's a corner kick for the Jags.
Novant Health is proud to be the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. With sick day and next day sick visits, Novant Health provides care when and where you need it. Schedule online at novanthealth.org. We're at the quarter hour, 2 corners deep for Charlotte. This time goes deep, a swing and a miss as the attempt was made. Rayud Manin with the attempt. The first-year man, the International of Martinique. Very young back group for Charlotte. You have 3 defenders under the age of 24 with the 24-year-old Rayud Manin. You also have the recently turned 20-year-old Javan Romero and Joey Skinner, 23 years of age, who came in from Tampa Bay Rowdies last year of the championship. Flubbed by Jaime, taken by Moshibane, lays it across for Bodily, controlling, spun off by Baquero, and allows Jaime to recollect for Charlotte. Still nothing on the timeline in a 76-degree day here in Charlotte. There was supposed to be a really high chance of rain, but we're still clear so far. Skinner, back and forth he goes with Ortiz. It is Skinner, he'll take it with a lane, fans it, but behind the back of Manzinga, Ortiz keeps it in play. Ortiz on Enye. Manzinga begins the cycle. Amaya. Charlotte gave it right back to Boise. They'll cycle themselves. Progressing upfield. Gasso. Gets it back from Bodily. Four wins and 2 draws in the last 6 across all competitions for AC Boise, and one of those wins came on PKs in the USL Cup on the road against Las Vegas. which had put ACB in some major headlines across the entire USL realm. One of the very few cup sets that took place between League One and USL Championship in the opening round of the USL Cup. Both teams have one more regular season game before we return to cup play. Kroll back and forth with Gasso. Looking for the open lane. Moshabane doesn't have it. Kroll. Deep ball, Kostashin spun down by Dimick, and it'll draw a free kick to Boise.
Foul just outside the penalty area. It will be a free kick for AC Boise.
Clay Dimick pleading his case to no avail. And this is going to be a matchup that we could potentially be seeing all night, with Clay Dimick, the most experienced defender on this Charlotte lineup, captain of this roster, and Dennis Kostashin, one of the most electrifying young talents in USL League One, only one season in. As the dead ball has Mayaka and Bodley there. Just over 20 minutes in. It'll be Bodley, back door, cleared away. Amaya skies it. Season tickets are still available for the 2026 season, with packages starting at $5 per match. Lock in your tickets today using tickets.charlotteindependence.com to secure your spot with the Charlotte Independence. Yet to mark a shot attempt are Boise. We do have the pair from Charlotte, only the one on target from the early corner. Nick Moon works with Kostashin. It remains Kostashin for Kroll. Bodley is available. Gasso takes back from Baquero, Moshabane, and a nice block from Dimick, but is taken back by Moshabane. Slides it across, try from deep is going to be held on by Matt Levy. Matt Levy, 3 consecutive starts, 3 consecutive winless. He sits at 1-2-2 throughout the year, has really been acknowledged as the primary regular season starter is Matt Levy, per Mike Jeffries. You also have George Tesaurus in the mix, who's been largely playing at cup competitions, and the newly signed Joshua Burton was actually announced a couple hours for a kickoff that he would join the roster on a 25-day contract. He is the sub if anything were to happen to Levy, God forbid. Bodily, laterally, Javier Romero with the read. Center circle for Dangler.
Here we go. Go, Charlotte! Deno, that's you! That's you, Deno! Shot! Tight! Right. Right shoulder!
Musa Enye has Mayaka towards center alongside Gasso. Mayaka from Moshabane, back for Mayaka, striding in. Kroll expands as Charlotte clog up the middle. Mayaka. Kostashin. Backheeled. Mayaka. Boise still looking to log a second shot attempt. Gasso grappled, still has it, weaving through the D. Advantage played on. Mayaka, top of the box, it's loose. No one can get it. Remains with Boise. As we approach 25 minutes. Moon. Well read by Javan Romero to dislodge. But lost it, back to Kroll. Bodily gets bodied. And it's Romero again. You can very much see how Boise are trying to control with possession, and at times just try to slow the game down, take the other team out of rhythm. But they'll be back in business with a potential throw-in. As the official talks to one of the Charlotte players, we want to let you know that the USL is on CBS SN continuing May 13th with a primetime showdown as newcomers AC Boise take on the high-flying FC Naples, 9 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, May 30th. Catch all the action on CBS SN. One of the top offensive units in ACB, currently tied in the most goals in the league against FC Naples, who about 2 months into the season are one of the best defensive lockdown units. May 13th party. Which for reference would be exactly a week from today. Kroll widens for Bodley. Kostashin supports. Nick Moon. Lions in the way, held back by Gasso. Moshabane gets dropped, but too much so it'll be another Boise free kick. The reception from Tumi Moshabane from Gasso, and had a little bit of contact from Gasso, and he had a little bit of contact from the back. Looked like Ray Manin who got in there, and that was conversations of the execution for this free kick. Despite a relatively low event game so far, Boise are a club that haven't necessarily had the most attempts, but when they do, they have made them count. The 11th fewest shot attempts, but tied with the most goals. They have an attempt at it with Moshabane and Dangler. Here comes Moshabane off the wall. Rebound for Gasso, lays it back, and Bodley just wide of the net, and wide of Matt Levy.
Shot was wide. It'll be a goal kick for the Jacks.
Went off of the wall, the rebound from Gasol. He lays it back for Bodley. And by maybe less than an inch, it's just wide of the outstretched hands of Levy. Blue Cross Blue Shield of NC is the official health insurance provider of the Charlotte Independents. Blue Cross NC makes health insurance easy. Discover employer, individual, family, Medicare, and Medicaid plans from Blue Cross North Carolina. Better care starts here. And Charlotte really needs to start taking better care of the ball. We've turned it over so many times to Boise at this point. Already logging just a wee over a third of the possession so far. Kostashin, center circle for Kroll. This is the lone road match in a 6-game stretch for AC Boise, which includes the USL Cup game hosting Monterey Bay at the USL Championship. Charlotte, they start a string of 3 home games in 4, also including the USL Cup, where in about 9 days from now, they'll host the reigning USL Championship champions in the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Vigo Ortiz, one of the real hotshots of this team at 17 years old, but has cooled down since a tremendous month of March. Featured a game-winning goal in the Open Cup against championship side Charleston Battery. Even had a goal against NYCFC to begin his young career. When you have 3 total goals in the opening 5 matches and have run dry since. But some of the trials and tribulations of a young player as Dimmick down the line, sends it across. Can't find Manzinga. Rebound, looking for Jaime Bacasso. And Baquero turns it over. Attempted the outside of the boot. Can't get past Amaya, but it's Mayaka back at center. Bodley, laterally, deflected, still loose but wide. For the first Boise corner.
Ball was defended over the end line. Referee signals for a corner kick for AC Boise. Number 7, Blake Bodley, making the corner kick for Boise.
Already a much different start for both teams compared to the last games. As we sit 1-0 in the 33rd. Blake Bodley, first corner of the match for Boise. Swung out, headed down and over. But it went off a defender, so it'll be another Boise corner.
Corner kick for AC Boise.
It was headed down from Luan Brito, but it went off his contesting defender. As Brito, and it goes off of the back of Monin. And we got Bodley going again. This time low, and the back heel is unsuccessful, but still alive for ACB. Bodley curls it, too high. Still loose, and they'll recover. Mayaka the chip. And back to Charlotte, but a nice read by Nick Moon to jar it free, but it will remain with the Independents. Skinner along the line. Manzinga didn't fully cross the line, so it's still in bounds. Christy Manzinga in the area. It was bobbling around, and it goes for another corner to Charlotte.
It's going to be a corner kick for the Jacks. Number 10, John Vaquero.
It'll be John Vaquero doing the honors,
For Charlotte.
who's only played 5 games to this point, considering that he missed much of March with a thigh injury. He'll serve up Charlotte's third corner, 10 minutes remaining in the opening half. Ortiz cuts back, has space. Vigo Ortiz, does he want it? Lays it back, and that's blocked. Second try, available. Amaya into the mix. Again, top of the box into the hands of Cleaver. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. What a ball, Moon. Stayed onside, it ricochets for a Boise corner. We go corner, corner, end to end.
Corner kick for AC Boise.
It's been a bit of anticipation for this match, whether or not the weather holds up. The first couple drops have fallen from the sky as Barley takes Boise's third corner. Swung in, headed out. Mayaka keeps it in play, only to the feet of Chris Jaime. He widens, shifts it to the middle, foot race, Dangler, Manzinga. Dangler got there first, and it's snagged by Cleaver. Charlotte won a foul. Whistle, stay silent. It's expected to potentially build the precipitation as the game goes on. It was around 60% going into kickoff, and it's expected to build up to a near 100%, well into the 90s by the time we hit 9 o'clock local time, which will be about midway through the second half. Ryan Lean, our entire ESPN Plus crew from American Legion Memorial Field, Charlotte Independence, AC Boise in match week 10 of USL League One. Jefferson Amaya struggling to get back up. Kroll leading for Bodley, and that's just friendly fire. Bit of a harsh landing on the back of Amaya. He took contact inadvertently from Miles Lyons. Always great to see them back on their feet.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Shop the Charlotte Independence's latest collections at charlotteindependence.myshopify.com or by clicking the shop button at charlotteindependence.com. And maybe get a chance to snag one of these beautiful red and blue kits that they're sporting today. ACB rocking the black, green trim, white font. Boise back on the toss. Kostashin. The rain builds up, centering. Bobble by Levy as the rain has really picked up. The ball's getting slippery, and that might be a factor going forward in the final 7 minutes of the half, plus whatever comes when we return. It was dry throughout all of warm-ups in the opening half an hour plus. Vigo Ortiz tried to chip it to himself, but Mayaka got in the way. Deep try from Moshe Bane, thwarted. Caro and Dimmick. Caro pressures Moshabane. Retrieves it back. Space at the center circle. Moshabane. And Brito was offside. Pepsi is the official soft drink of the Charlotte Independents. Enjoy a ice cold Pepsi while watching the Jacks. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas. True football weather has come to Charlotte as Lions across. Ortiz fans it. Skinner. Stop the ball's momentum. Jaime. Jaime in the center, but Carroll got a touch. They want a handball, they're not getting it. Boise will stay on. This was that last play. Jaime able to keep it in. And Baquero, oh, you could make an argument as Dangler had the hand out. You most certainly can make an argument that Boise got away with one. The ricochet from Baquero on the feed from Jaime, but we still remain at zeros with the final 5. Bodily presses the gas. Swerves through the D. Mayaka. And yeah. Costa Shin loads up and off a defender, out for a corner.
Ball deflected over the goal. It'll be a corner kick for AC Boise.
Coming off of a really good week for Boise, that 2-1 win against Chattanooga, which included 3 members of Team of the Week. Bodily takes the corner. He was one of them. The others, for reference, Moshabane and Kroll. But it is Bodily on the 4th corner attempt. Punched out by Levy. And the clearance finished by Dimmick. Headed down, Moshabane on a double team. Tries to pivot away. Has Bodily to assist. Lays it across. Kept in possession, Enye. Curves it, Baquero. Manzinga able to get it back. Splits the D. Here goes Manzinga, getting grappled. Still on his feet. Kroll bobbles it away. He was getting grappled and held, but still maintained his composure. But the final touch by Mayaka jars it free. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights, plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. Sirius XM-FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Skinner pursues. Just went ping-ponging back and forth, but it's booted all the way to the sideline. 1 minute remains in the opening half. Stoppage time pending. Still yet to see any score in this game. Dangler using all of his 6'5", 200 frame to head it down. Kostishin slithers it free for Kroll. Former champion with Union Omaha back in 2021 has Bodley back and forth. Bodley out of range, Mayaka, and it's Jaime. Jaime might have a 3-on-2. Boise getting back. Jaime cutting through, still Jaime! Off Cleaver! And a corner for Charlotte.
Jaime is saved and out for a corner kick for the Jacks.
What a solo rush by Christopher Jaime. 3-on-5, soon 3-on-6. Slides it across, got it to the right foot, but off the palms of Jonathan Cleaver, who has only allowed a singular goal in his 2 starts, as all corners are brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield. Or stoppage time from Blue Cross Blue Shield, pardon. Vaquero swung in, headed down. And Vaquero will accept the throw. Another try to the box. Charlotte keep it deep in Boise territory. Another toss to Charlotte. We're past the 1 minute. And that will end that possession for Charlotte, and that will also end the half.
And that's the whistle for the end of the half. Tonight's halftime score brought to you by Courtyard Marriott at Arrowwood.
Still scoreless through 45 minutes of play. Valiant efforts from both Matt Levy and Jonathan Cleaver as we go into the halftime break in the same place we began, without a goal in this game. A chance for Mike Jeffries and Nate Miller to reassess and adjust if needed. Physical, scrappy, but scoreless when it's all said and done, as halftime is presented by Courtyard Marriott. More from Charlotte on the other end.
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Carolina Ascent, coming to American Legion Memorial Stadium. Super Women of Soccer. Speed changes everything. Mackenzie George, lightning fast. Before you hear the thunder, you see the flash.
Something big is coming. Saturday, May 16th, it's the fantastic finale. 2,000 t-shirts from Morningstar Storage, Taylor Swift tribute band from Gainbridge, the Food Lion Base Camp Bash, and post-game fireworks.
CarolinaAscent.com. We kick grass.
It's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive.
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Coming up next as well.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
The only place where it's pouring is on the field. However, not in the back of the net yet, still scoreless. Halftime brought to you by Courtyard Marriott. Gotta appreciate the dedication of the fans here at American Legion Memorial as we go through the best from around USL and League One at halftime in Charlotte. We go through our Team of the Week, which featured a very Boise heavy crew, but you do have those couple of jacks within that primary 11 with Joey Skinner and Enzo Martinez, who knotted in his 50th goal with the Charlotte Independents. You also have on that bench portion guys like Jay Kroll in the mix, Blake Bodley in the mix, Tui Moshabani were all involved as well. It only shows how much talent truly is on the field. However, when you have so much talent on both sides, it's relatively even when it's all said and done. And that's the Team of the Week. But going over the entire month of April, what's new? Ian Fuller won Knoxville, dominant as always, amongst the top of the table, furthest run in the Open Cup. Nothing new for Ian Fuller, who's looking to potentially go back-to-back as not only champions in League One, but also the Players' Shield champions as well. That is from the best of the USL and League One. More from Charlotte when we come back. As The Experience is a video docuseries that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and supporter groups. Latest episode showcases League One's newcomers, AC Boise, and their supporter group, the River Guard. Available now on youtube.com/USL May 9th.
I think Idahoans have been clamoring for something that is theirs.
I feel a big sense of responsibility to do this right. You only get one first season.
For me, without soccer, it's like there's no air. Having it here, I feel like I can breathe again. Boise's never had anything like this.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Goes for goal! It is a buzzsaw from Boise! Back post, crashing in! Max Glasser delivers for Naples!
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Ponchos, umbrellas, and tarps have come out at American Legion Memorial Stadium. Still scoreless between Charlotte and Boise, as halftime is brought to you by Courtyard Marriott. In the present, we got 45 minutes left between Charlotte and Boise, but afterward we take a look at what is to come between these two squads following tonight's match. They'll both have a quick future ahead of them, and for Charlotte it'll be a very quick turnaround considering that they have a game coming up on the road against Corpus Christi on the weekend before coming back to Pittsburgh to play the Riverhounds before they come back home to Forward Madison at the end of the month. As for AC Boise, all schedules are brought to you by Courtyard Marriott. A lot coming down the line for Boise. They go 3 straight at home against Naples, Monterey Bay in the USL Cup, and Fort Wayne. But looking ahead towards the weekend, a heavy slate which features Charlotte going back into play, where they have to go on the road to play Corpus Christi on Saturday. That is one of 6 games on the Saturday slate. You also have the Sunday wrap-up in Spokane, where they will host FC Naples. 2 very defensive, scrappy teams going up against each other. As we have our standings from the Carolina Office Solutions. Early impressions, maybe not ideal for Charlotte, but they sit directly under New York Cosmos with 5 points. So if they do somehow get a point out of this, they won't be in the picture yet, but if they get the full 3, they will jump up, as AC Boise early on top 5. But for Charlotte, now all is lost. There is still a lot of ground to make up, as they only have 6 points on the docket. Any points could jump them into the top 8 early on. That is what we got going on in USL League One. Let's take a look at the latest from the USL.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the League One headlines. Fort Wayne FC finally got to enjoy the feeling of playing a home match last weekend. The grand opening of Roth Mortgage Stadium began with 4 goals in the opening 15 minutes, ending in a 2-2 draw with Charlotte Independence. Fort Wayne played 5 away matches in all competitions before that home opener, but gets to enjoy 6 of 7 at home during the month of May. One Knoxville's run to the round of 16 in the U.S. Open Cup earned $50,000 in prize money for being the last remaining League One team in the tournament. Knoxville's signature moment was a victory at DC United in penalty kicks in the round of 32. Congratulations to Greenville Triumph defender Brandon Fricke, the first player to surpass 15,000 minutes in League One history. The numbers are incredible. 173 starts, 49 clean sheets, and he will challenge you on headers, winning 469 aerial duels, the second most in League One history. Upcoming national broadcast: AC Boise and FC Naples next Wednesday. Then it's Richmond Kickers and Charleston Battery in the USL Cup, and Rhode Island hosts Brooklyn in the USL Championship. All 3 matches on the CBS Sports Network. The second half is getting closer. Let's get you back out to your match.
I want to stop being sidelined by pain. I want to tell him I'm in. I want a surgeon who speaks more knees than he can count. I want the best care in the game. I want a team that's with me every step of the way. I want to bounce back fast. I want to show them my best is yet to come.
For the best orthopedic care, you want Novant. Novant Health. Best surgeons, amazing nurses, remarkable care.
Carolina Ascent, coming to American Legion Memorial Stadium. Super Women of Soccer. Speed changes everything. Mackenzie George, lightning fast. Before you hear the thunder, you see the flash.
Something big is coming. Saturday, May 16th, it's the fantastic finale. 2,000 t-shirts from Morningstar Storage, Taylor Swift tribute band from Gainbridge, the Food Lion Basecamp Bash, and post-game fireworks.
CarolinaAscent.com. We kick grass.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, Blue Cross North Carolina is proud of the relationships we've built with you. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. We're here for you, all of you.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Back in Charlotte, American Legion Memorial Stadium, second half between the Independents and AC Boise coming up. But first, before we get to the second half, we need to look back at what happened in the first half of this game between one of the longest running League One clubs and the newest League One club. After it finally was dry at kickoff, things got ramped up about a dozen minutes in. Chris Jaime up the gut was looking for Christy Menzinga, looking to build off of the first goal he had of the year last time out against Fort Wayne. However, Boise did have a couple answers of their own. Kosashin with a deep try. It was a nice bouncer for Levy. They got to give credit for at least the attempt. But in the half an hour, there was a foul, a free kick. It wasn't the first try. It was a second. Bodily missing by just a hair. And still yet to find that first goal. But fresh off a Team of the Week performance, so he is coming in with confidence as Bodily had the service on the corner. And that was the attempt by Luan Brito, but went off the defender. Did force another corner, but to no avail. And this was right before the start of the half. Chris Jaime along the end line had the deflection for Baquero, calling the handball. And when you see it slowed down up tight, you can make the argument. Jaime gets it around for Baquero, but Dangler most certainly gets his arm in the way, but no whistle was called. No VAR available, so whatever the decision is made is final. Jaime one more time, the solo rush up the gut, breaks through a flurry of defenders and couldn't beat Jonathan Cleaver when it's all said and done. Halftime stats brought to you by Novant Health. Possession has gone Boise's way, but Charlotte really made the most of it. A lot of low danger attempts for Charlotte as we're back in business for the second half between Boise and Charlotte Independents. Boise in the black, going from left to right. Charlotte in the red and blue, right to left they will go. As Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus crew, thank you for joining us here at American Legion Memorial Stadium in Week 10 of USL League One play, where Boise are in 5th place with 11 points through the first 5 games. And Charlotte Independents 1-1-2. And we already have our first change made by Mike Jeffrey. Vigo Ortiz hasn't really made many contributions throughout this game so far, so a bit of a dynamic presence in the attack with Luis Alvarez, who was originally a part of Charlotte Independents for 3 years between 2023 and 2025. He actually got sent to the Tampa Bay Rowdies on loan last year. This year, he stays with the Rowdies, but gets loaned back to Charlotte. So regardless of how you pan it out, Alvarez, 4 years deep with a club that he feels like his family. And maybe he can help them out by getting a first goal in this game. The Young Player of the Year finalist from 2024 comes in as one of the more promising young prospects. In Vigo Ortiz makes his exit. A lot of Boise just trying to hold on and control the possession throughout this game. It's the second straight week that Charlotte had to play one of the expansion sides after playing against Fort Wayne last time out. Mike Jeffries noting that there's all-around familiarity considering that you have similarities in the players and maybe some of the coaches, but some of the styles and how they utilize what they do is a little bit to be determined. Just a lot of tape being relied upon, and maybe a chance for Charlotte to get on the board with their first corner in the second half. They had 4 in the opening half. And just like on the other end, Baquero will take it. But he does have Alvarez alongside, which does provide some of that service that he really exemplified through his last couple of years with Charlotte. But Baquero will take it low. Took a ricochet, not there. Still in the area. Loose in the box. No one can claim it. Swept away by Boise. Alvarez watches it drop. Kostashin pursues. Alvarez, fresh off the bench. Laterally, Jaime, back for Alvarez. But that ricocheted off of him, so it'll be recollected by Blake Bodley. Attempted feed in the area was unsuccessful. Jaime recollects. Up the gut. But it falls backward. Deep try, Skinner. But Enye gets in the way. Neither team have yet to experience a scoreless draw. However, they have both experienced a draw very recently, the 2-2 tie in Fort Wayne for Charlotte. And you have that 1-1 ender with Las Vegas in the USL Cup for Boise, but of course with the USL Cup rules, they had the opportunity to get the spare points in PKs, which they did. Novant Health is proud to be the official healthcare provider of the Charlotte Independents. With same-day and next-day sick visits, Novant Health provides care when and where you need it. Schedule online at novanthealth.org. Manzinga off the back of Dangler. Still Manzinga in a foot race. Dangler forced to slide out. Kept in play. Through the legs, Lions aggressive. Baquero retrieves. The continual patter of rain persistent in Charlotte. And unlikely to let up for the rest of this match. If you include that last game of the USL Cup where they won in PKs, Boise have technically won their last 3 straight. Unbeaten in the last 6 for Charlotte. Back-to-back games with points, including the USL Cup after 3 consecutive losses. And that was after opening up unbeaten in their opening 4. Tumi Moshabane towards the line. Enye off of Skinner for the first Boise corner of the second 45. Total shots so far in the first half. Back in. Levy, punch down! Still bouncing. And they'll give it back to Levy.
It will be a goal kick coming out for the Jacks.
It was Bodily again with the service, and that actually went off of Moshe Bane before Levy could get to it. And you have to really credit the aggression by Moshe Bane, as Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL. From grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Mayaka back with it. Held in by Gasso. Kostashin, top of the area, wanted to flip it from Moshe Bane, but Levy able to get it. Going into the weekend, there was an overall excitement to get back here to American Legion. Charlotte have not been back here since March 24th, when they had a demolishing 4-0 win against Spokane Velocity. It was their third win in a 4-game stretch between the regular season and the Open Cup. But it was actually their first win and their only win of the regular season. They've yet to get back in the W column in League One play since. Kostashin slides across from Skinner. Kostashin off a body. Rebound. Moshe Bane twirls, fires, saved by Levy. Cleared out for a Boise throw, but Charlotte extinguished the initial danger. Mayaka, aggressive again. Kostashin, and Mayaka, doesn't matter, it is whistled down. But what an outstanding chance for Boise. They couldn't get behind Levy. And that ricochet and great move by Moshe Bane maybe had some benefit of the slide by Dimmick from the wet pitch and the rain, but then you had Rayud Manin coming in to collect and help out in the back. Spent 2 seasons with Presbyterian College, and recently, earlier in March, received his first ever call-up with an international squad with Martinique, where he played in a friendly against Cuba. His teammate Skinner and Vaquero occupy the near side. Alvarez takes a lane. Skinner on a turn, hesitates, centers, no one to follow up. Kostashin and Dangler by Boise breathing room. Brito aggressive, too much so, foul. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Skinner splits the D, but could not maintain. Skinner, full circle coming to Charlotte this past season after being with the Independence's Academy squad back in 2020. Spent some time in the NCAA, got drafted to the MLS, went to the championship. It comes back down to League One with Charlotte, where he started off his pro soccer career. Transferred within the Carolinas, UNC Greensboro to Clemson, before going elsewhere within the southwestern portion of the U.S. with Nashville and Tampa. And the Charlotte native comes home in his age 23 season. as far as Dangler, as it will continuously pour for the remainder of this game in a relatively calm 73 degrees. Moon curls it into the hands of Levy. Luis Alvarez, center circle, wants to lead it. Manzinga on a breakaway. Manzinga gets tripped. What's the verdict here? Was that inside the penalty area? It's at the very least a yellow card for Cleaver. Manzinga grabbed his lower leg. What a feed from Alvarez. Manzinga and Dangler in foot races all game long. And in the middle of the run, you very clearly see Cleaver clip the leg of Manzinga as he tumbles to the turf.
The referee seems to have signaled for a penalty kick for the Jacks. Penalty kicks are brought to you by Hotline.
And not only is that a yellow card for Jonathan Cleaver, it's a penalty going to Charlotte. A chance to turn this game's tide. It's been Mazinga and it's been Dangler in foot races all game long. Dangler's got the best of him for the most part, but that time it was Manzinga leading the way. And a chance to take the lead from the dot. It'll be the substitute, Luis Alvarez. 1 goal this year. A chance for number 10 in League One and number 20 as a pro. It's Alvarez, it's Cleaver. To open the scoring in a rainy Charlotte, Luis Alvarez at the hour. Stopped by Cleaver. Rebound collected by Skinner, scoops it, held on by Cleaver. What a way to make up for Jonathan Cleaver. He started his League One account with a clean sheet, 4-0 in that Westchester game back in Idaho. Alvarez on a pivot, lost it. Half an hour remains in regulation, still scoreless, but golden opportunities on both sides. This is the penalty, the slow run up from Luis Alvarez. And just low left, Cleaver able to read the play. And Alvarez was actually one of the key reasons why they had that dominant success against Spokane. He had a goal and an assist in a 4-0 finish against Velocity FC at the end of March. It still accounts for the last win, and we will have a trio of changes coming up, all for Boise. You have Euler, Adams, and Yaya all going into the match. Charlie Adams, just shy of 32, been a pro since 2013, was also a former player of Nate Miller's when they were in San Diego together. Keegan Euler, the rookie from Utah Valley, is the second substitution, and Omar Yaya, another product from Utah Valley, actually didn't play in any significant pro soccer last year after his collegiate career expired. Alvarez recollects, wants to make up for the missed penalty. Still scrapping, top of the 18, collected by Mayaka. Return to Boise on possession, but you can turn your next outing into a game day experience with the Charlotte Independence. Groups of 10 or more can walk out with the team, play on the pitch at halftime, or take a post-game photo on the field. Book your group today to make memories at the Sportsplex or American Legion Memorial Stadium. Chips it over the head. Who had Bodily pursuing upward with Kostashin hitting the bench. Still bobbling back and forth. No one can really claim it. It's a complete overhaul of the attack for Nate Miller. When you're averaging over 2 goals a game with 12 goals in the first 5 and you go scoreless across the first hour, there absolutely can be frustration setting in for ACB. And the 3 that leave are Gasso, Kostashin, and Brito. Romero forces Levy to scramble back. Baquero, heavy touch. Back to Charlotte. Over at center. Yaya, deep try. Moshabane gets there first. Top of the area. Moshabane off a block. Couldn't get behind Jaime. And Skinner watches it roll to Alvarez, who gets bodied off and draws a foul. That's a yellow card.
Yellow card caution, showing number 14 of AC Boise, Nick Moon.
Nick Moon draws his first booking in USL League One, as we will also have a set of changes taken by Mike Jeffries.
Coming into the game, number 7, Prince Sadie.
So Prince Sadie and Swabu Maru will be the 2 that come in. Baquero and Manzinga will be the 2 to exit.
Coming in for Christine Manzinga.
Swabu Maru had that dynamic 9-goal season a year ago in the regular season, all comps 11, both of which were a single season high for him. And then Prince Sadie will occupy the midfield for John Baquero. Only 2 games deep with Charlotte, but over 170 across all levels of USL, dating back to his time with Miami in 2020. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your ticket to great seats. You have the closing couple of games for Carolina Ascent of the Gainbridge Super League, the entire rest of the way for Charlotte Independence. And perhaps even a trip down to Raleigh, where the Carolina Hurricanes have been unbeaten in the Stanley Cup playoffs so far. A lot of great seats potentially in North Carolina. Even to see Bill Belichick and Mike Malone over on Chapel Hill. Mayaka speeding up the gut. Skinner forced to retreat. Centering feed into the hands of Levy, but the attempt was made by Keegan Euler. Maru pressuring. And these are two forwards who often get replicated for one another between Maru and Manzinga. Very different profiles from Mike Jeffries. Maru a little more in the mix of things. Really capitalized on rebounds last year. That slow roller. The chance for a yeah, but not there. And we will also see the introduction of Jonathan Ricketts into the match. That is now 4 subs for Nate Miller. Nick Moon will be the replacement. Him and his yellow card go to the bench for Jonathan Ricketts. A relatively reliable starter, all things considered, has started in 5 of 7 games for ACB, including today. And today is actually 1 away. Ricketts now sits 1 away from 50 total games in USL League One. Played with the Chattanooga Red Wolves back in 2020, 2021, and spent a trio of seasons bouncing around the USL Championship. Was Ricketts centering. Adams slides away. Mayaka. Ricketts, fresh legs. Mayaka helps out. Leading the way for Blake Bodley. Eyes on Dimmick. Bodley across. Headed away from Romero. Follow up. Mayaka settles. Has Jaime all over. Adams. Kroll recycles. Can't get by Romero. Adams widens. Ricketts gets in the mix. Adams again. But disrupted by Swabu Maru quite nicely, and that allows Sadie and Charlotte to get breathing room out. Aquafina is the official water and hydration partner of the Charlotte Independents. When your game heats up, cool down with Aquafina. Or at least in the case of today, let Mother Nature do the cooling down for you. Headed by Kroll, only Jaime in the center dot. Has a route for Alvarez. Skinner, back to Alvarez. Couldn't get away from Ricketts. And that'll be Cleaver to absorb it. Could be in large part because of the precipitation, but the second half much muckier than the first. 13 total attempts in the first half, 6 in the second. Bouncing ball, Maru is loose. Alvarez controls off the post. Alvarez golden opportunities twice, but neither could beat Jonathan Cleaver. First, the save on the PK. A second, a scramble right outside the 6 goes off of the bar. Keep in mind, Luis Alvarez has missed the last couple of games. There was an anticipation that he might not be here either. Slithering, firing, not there. Nice attempt by Miles Lyons to attempt his second goal of the year, and this was the attempt with Maru and Alvarez. What a nice chip by Maru to get to Alvarez. The control by Alvarez. Spinning backwards, outside of the foot, inches. Maybe even 1 inch more to the right, that could have gone bar in. But we stay with zeros across the board. Closing in on the final quarter hour. In the middle goes Bodley. And Boise, hold on. USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on CBS Sports, Golazo Network, and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN+ crew from American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina. AC Boise, exactly a week from now, will play Naples on CBS-SN. Charlotte on the other end, they're back in business on Saturday, flying to Corpus Christi. And that's going to be the last regular season match for both teams before they return to USL Cup play. Alvarez spins away from his man. Alvarez falling for Skinner. And Skinner walled off by Enye. The rookie from Senegal, the reigning Atlantic 10 Defensive Player of the Year as the member of the VCU Rams. Has it again. Alejo Kalume has been directing traffic this entire way through. Colin Ashley, Nick Lopez, and MJ Tahini. Charlotte in 2026 coming off a 2025 campaign where they were the only team in the playoffs with a negative goal differential in their first sub-500 season since 2019. AC Boise, one of 5 clubs with 2026 as their debut season. And that is a absolute takedown of Javier Romero as Bodley was desperate to claim back the ball, and he'll take a yellow card in the process.
Shoulder number 7, Blake Bodley.
Bodley just over-touched the ball as Romero was coming in. Definitely nothing on Romero. He got all ball. Romero still down on the ground, still waiting for the medical help to come. Mike Jeffrey stares on as he looks at a group that has really been fighting through a lot of the stuff early on, especially with some of the overall injury bugs. Prince Sadie comes into the game only the second time all season because he was injured for the first 2 months of the year. And it took him to the first week of March to get into play for the Jacks. across all competitions dating back to his time with Dallas Burn of Major League Soccer in 01. 443 matches for Mike Jeffries. Meanwhile, for Nate Miller, back in USL League One since 2019. Went around the championship, was with San Diego Loyal for 3 years. He assisted them, then became the head man in what will become Loyal's final year of existence in 2023 before going to Major League Soccer to be a part of the an assistant as a part of the crew with Real Salt Lake, guiding the upbringing of some of the stars of RSL, including Diego Luna, potential favorite to be on the U.S. World Cup roster. Full sprint ahead. Skinner bodies off Yaya. And you'll have to be careful because a guy like Omar Yaya can absolutely be threatening. Single season points record from Utah Valley. Moshe Bane lost control, but they gave him the whistle. We have a yellow card ensuing as well with Amaya in the book.
Yellow card caution shown to number 24, Jefferson Amaya.
This was the foul. Moshe Bane. He lost control. He was sliding on a wet turf. But there was a reason I'm up here and not down there dressed in yellow. Shop the Charlotte Independence's latest collections at charlotteindependence.myshopify.com or by clicking the shop button at charlotteindependence.com. Rocking the red today is Charlotte. Dribbles for Levy. It seems Omar Yaya is getting some extra attention on the sideline. So it's temporarily 11v10 for Charlotte. Luis Alvarez looks to capitalize. Up the gut. Alvarez off the bar. Still loose. Maru. Alvarez. It drops. Foul against Charlotte. Alvarez cannot believe it. A PK save and a double doink off the bar. Once a couple of minutes ago, and that time off the fingers of Cleaver off the crossbar. 3 separate opportunities since coming on at the half. He could only scream in disbelief. He is itching for that second goal of the year. Past Moshe Bane. Back and forth with him and Manin. Maru leads it. Alvarez. Maru leads Alvarez. One-on-one. He gets it. Finally, Luis Alvarez. 2 posts and a PK save, and Alvarez finally gets back on the score sheet in his return to the roster. What a ball to get Alvarez all alone. Cleaver has been capitalizing on those one-on-ones all game long. Minutes after screaming in frustration from a crossbar hit, he gets the header above the hands of Cleaver and slots it in for the goal, for the game's opening goal.
The Jacks take a 1-0 lead off a goal by number 47, Luis Alvarez.
Alvarez, 2 goals this year, 9 in League One, 20 in all competitions. And Charlotte are in the driver's seat. A place they are very familiar with, scoring first. And when they've done so this year, they have, at the very least, claimed the full set so far. But can they double it down? Prince Sadie with space. Alvarez calling for it. Sadie, top of the area. Dangler with a slide out of play for a corner.
Ball defended over the end line. Corner kick for the Jacks.
It seems like something has sparked for Charlotte after Alvarez got the first one through. That is only the second goal conceded by Jonathan Cleaver across 3 starts for the rookie from Missouri State.
Number 5, Javin Romero.
It'll be Javin Romero to take the service. Starts in all 27 League One appearances. Romero away from Kroll. Omar Yea back in play after getting some attention to some bleeding. Outside, Enye. Back to the middle for Moshabane. Final 6 minutes for Boise to respond and at the very least recoup a point. Their only loss on the year came on the road to Sarasota in the opener. Curls it in. Romero away for a Boise corner. Gatorade is official sports drink provider of the Charlotte Independent. After a long day at the field or gym, replenish the electrolytes with Gatorade's many flavored sports drinks. And we will have the entry of Joe Hansen for AC Boise. Tumi Moshabane in his return to Charlotte is now over. And with 5 minutes to go in regulation. 5th and final sub for Nate Miller into the box, headed out by Charlotte, swept away. Just like that, Mike Jeffries will make a sub himself. Jefferson Amaya has a yellow card, so no risk there at a potential shorthanded situation. And it will be Tabo Nare who will come in.
Substitution brought to you by Atlas Chiropractic. This time the Independents make
You have a midfielder for a center back who started 9 of 16 games with Tormenta last year. And he came to Statesboro from the MLS organizations with both LAFC and FC Dallas. Ricketts cuts inside, plenty of room, doesn't rip it, gets a ricochet away from Dimmick. Clay Dimmick, how fantastic has he since his return to the lineup after a neck injury in 2023, where he had surgery, a double disc replacement. One of very few pro athletes to even get that type of surgery on his neck. Jack Eichel, the most famous one, the now Vegas Golden Knight, former Buffalo Sabre. And has since his return, comeback player of the year in 2024 is Dimmick, still the captain of this roster. All minutes in all comps since the start of 2024. Open Cup, USL Cup. Dimmick's done all of it. Alvarez, alone. Jaime. Amaya is off for Nare in that last sub. Alvarez continues to battle. And after that last whistle down, we seemingly are going to have a free kick. It is Luis Alvarez. Alvarez sent to goal, off the bar again! Luis Alvarez is a post magnet. That's his third time echoing the iron. That even missed the palm of Cleaver. That's just straight kisses the crossbar. Tossed in, Jaime sliding by through the end line, in front, Maru, just wide.
Shot just wide, will be a goal.
At Belleville University, your success is the only thing that matters. That's why they offer education that's designed to help you achieve your next goal. Find out more at degrees.bellevue.edu/goals. Only one goal in this game, Luis Alvarez in the 81st minute. Ricketts. Laterally, no one on the receiving end. Kroll pops it. Jump ball. Bodily holds it in. Alvarez on a chase. Slants it across. Swebu Maru all alone. Final minute of 90. It was Alvarez from Maru as the official marking of the opening goal. The two substitutes get on the board as Charlotte looks to continue to press. Four extra minutes courtesy of Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time. Stoppage time is brought to you by Blue Cross of North Carolina.
Into the middle, Sadie. We're back here at American Legion Memorial Stadium for the Brinks Tires USL Cup. The reigning champions of the USL Championship, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, come here. Back and forth, Sadie, Alvarez, back to Alvarez, top of the box, and missed. Play got whistled down. And Charlotte are in no rush as they've gone through 1 minute of 4 in stoppage. A trip to Corpus Christi on deck for the Independents. For Boise, if they cannot come back in this game, it would be their first loss since match week 1, which was a 1-0 decision in Sarasota as a yellow card comes out.
Yellow card caution
Lions.
number 16, Miles Lyons.
That's his. But for Charlotte, it's just about disrupting Boise. Any chance they get, make things as disruptive and as difficult for them as possible. Especially for Charlotte, it could be their first win since March 24th. That was a 4-0 win against Spokane. To the box. Not there for Yaya. Yaya steals it back. Adams widens. Blake Bodley, the captain. Inward. Headed away. Out the other end. Enye slides it. Still in the area. Alvarez and Jaime. Right back to Yaya. Escapes the double team. And what a steal from Jaime. Leads it for Alvarez. Maru might have a breakaway. Suebu Maru cuts it back. Top of the box. And that's off a dangler. Maru decides to slide back and hit the brakes instead of going pedal to the metal. You can very clearly see where ball made contact on dangler. Perhaps giving love to his shin the same way that goalies do to their posts. But that clearance, or that breakout, is going to end in a Charlotte throw. Plays it back towards Cleaver. How much time is truly left? We're in 4 of 4. Likely final push for ACB. Romero the clearance. Across, Sadie. Draws coverage, Sadie. Unable to hold on to it for long. Aleo Kalume gives Boise one final lifeline. We are well past 4. Mike Jeffries talked about getting on the front foot. Trying to take control of games quick. It took them a while, but they did do just that. Is there one last chance here for Boise? Trickles out of play. And that is it. The Jacks are back with their first win since March 24th. They take down the newcomers, Boise, as they're back in the win column. All on the back of Luis Alvarez, our man of the match, presented by Aquafina. The game-winning goal, the lone goal. And let's be honest, you hit the post 3 times, you're cooking, to say the least. He got there eventually, and it was the one that mattered the most. A crazy match here in Charlotte as our postgame is presented by Courtyard Marriott. We wrap things up in Charlotte when we come back.
When it comes to delivering high quality, affordable health care, relationships matter. And after 90 years, Blue Cross North Carolina is proud of the relationships we've built with you. We're 5,000 neighbors, friends, and family committed to improving the health and well-being of everyone across this state. We're here for you, all of you.
Carolina Ascent, coming to American Legion Memorial Stadium. Super Women of Soccer. Speed changes everything. Mackenzie George, lightning fast. Before you hear the thunder, you see the flash.
Something big is coming. Saturday, May 16th, it's the fantastic finale. 2,000 t-shirts from Morningstar Storage, Taylor Swift tribute band from Gainbridge, the Food Lion Base Camp Bash, and post-game fireworks.
CarolinaAscent.com. We kick grass.
back here in Charlotte where the Independents win against the newcomers AC Boise for the first time. They're in the win column since late March. Post-game presented by Courtyard Marriott. But we take a look at how we got to this point through the 90 minutes of play, as our full-time highlights are brought to you by Novant Health between ACB and the Jacks. A half an hour into the match, there was the free kick by Mo Shabane, and the rebound was laid back to Gasso for Bodily. It just sputters wide off of a bouncer, and final 90, it'd be Alvarez on a free kick. Bangs the bar again to no avail. As we have our full-time stats brought to you by Novant Health. Not a lot of possession, but Charlotte were so aggressive throughout this entire game. The second they got possession, the first thing they did was run straight up the field, and it worked in their favor to the result of 10 shots on target. More on target than Boise had attempts. I understand Boise was trying to slow the game down, but it didn't really work in their benefit at the end of the day, considering that Charlotte were the ones to get their opportunities and capitalize when it's all said and done. Well, that'll do it for us here at American Legion Memorial Stadium, kicking off Week 10 in USL League One play. It was a fun one, a rainy one in Charlotte, but it ends 1-0 for the Independents when it's all said and done. For our entire USL League One and ESPN Plus crew, my name is Ryan Lee. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.